Hello, friends. Imagine logging into your brokerage account to wire $50,000 for a down payment on a new retirement condo. You click transfer, but an error message pops up. You call customer service, and the representative tells you that your transfer has been blocked, your account is temporarily frozen, and they legally refuse to release your own money to you. It isn't a bank error, and you aren't being investigated for a crime. You have just been caught in the net of FINRA Rule 2165. In an aggressive attempt to stop elder financial fraud, the government has given brokerage firms the ultimate power to completely freeze the accounts of anyone over the age of 65 if they suspect you are making a bad decision. And if you don't know the exact federal forms to file beforehand, they can legally hold your money hostage for nearly 3 months. I want to be perfectly clear right from the start. This is not an illegal seizure or a government conspiracy to steal your wealth. This is an official active regulation enforced by the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, or FINRA, explicitly designed to protect seniors from devastating financial scams. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why a broker can legally freeze your retirement funds for up to 55 business days, the specific red flag behaviors that trigger their internal alarms, and the exact step-by-step process to set up a trusted contact to guarantee you are never locked out of your own money. I am also going to reveal the critical difference between a power of attorney and a trusted contact person, and why having the wrong one on file will actually cause your account to be frozen faster. Rules change every single year, and the government never sends a handbook to your house to explain your options. Subscribers to this channel find out about these hidden regulatory shifts in time to protect their life work, while the others usually find out after the money is already gone. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss one of these critical updates. Let us start with the hidden trigger that sets this entire process in motion without your signature or your consent. It is the Rule 2165 age classification. The moment you celebrate your 65th birthday, your investment account at Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard, or Edward Jones is automatically flagged under the specified adult category. You cannot opt out of this, and nobody asks for your permission. The federal rule gives your brokerage firm the unilateral legal authority to place a temporary hold on your funds if their internal algorithms or compliance staff reasonably believe that financial exploitation is occurring or is even being attempted against you. To handle this reality, you need to take a specific set of actions. First, you must explicitly acknowledge that your age alone has automatically changed your account's legal status in the eyes of federal regulators. Second, you need to understand right now that the broker does not need a court order, a judge's signature, or a police report to initiate the very first freeze on your life savings. Third, log into your profile and review your account history to see if your brokerage has recently updated their terms of service regarding elder fraud or specified adults. Finally, do not assume your net worth or your high status exempts you from this surveillance. The compliance departments monitor high net worth accounts even more aggressively because the dollar amounts are so tempting to outsiders. Let's look at how this plays out for a real investor named Robert, who is 66 years old. Robert has been a loyal client of his brokerage firm for 30 consecutive years. Maintaining an unblemished record, he decides he wants to wire $100,000 to an overseas account to secure a beautiful vacation property. When Robert was 64 years old, that wire would have cleared the system almost instantly. Because he is now 66, that exact same $100,000 wire triggers the automated Rule 2165 algorithm. The compliance department looks at the international destination and suspects it might be an international romance scam. They drop a freeze on the entire 100,000s. Robert's real estate deal completely falls through because he cannot deliver the funds, and he loses his $10,000 non-refundable earnest money deposit simply because he crossed that 65-year-old threshold. Now, this rule can also apply to adults over the age of 18 if the firm reasonably believes they have a physical or mental impairment. But for seniors 65 and older, the brokerage does not need a single shred of proof of impairment. Your age alone is the legal trigger that unlocks their authority. When that freeze hits your account, it is not just a standard 24-hour administrative delay while they check your signature. The timeline established by federal law is shockingly long. This brings us to the maximum temporary hold period, which is the 55 business day lockdown timeline. If your account is frozen due to suspected fraud, you are entering a regulatory tunnel. By law, the initial freeze lasts for 15 business days. If the firm's internal compliance team conducts a preliminary review and believes the threat to your wealth is real, they have the legal authority to extend it by 10 more business days. Then, if they report the issue to a state regulator or to Adult Protective Services, they can tack on another 30 business days. That brings the total potential lock to 55 business days. If you ever find yourself facing this situation, you must follow these steps immediately. Step 1. Demand to know the exact calendar date the hold was placed on your funds. Step 2. Get a calendar and calculate the business days manually, making sure you exclude every single weekend and federal holiday. Step 3. Face the hard reality that 55 business days equals roughly 2.5 months of actual calendar time. Step 4. Open a backup checking account at a local credit union right now and fund it with at least 3 months of living expenses so you are never starved out or left unable to buy groceries during a brokerage freeze during a brokerage freeze. To understand how dangerous this timeline is, look at Susan, who is 72 years old. Susan gets targeted by a tech support scammer and is tricked into attempting a wire transfer of $20,000 to a fraudulent corporate account. Her broker catches the scam, which is a good thing, and they freeze her entire disbursement ability on November 1st. But because 55 business days completely excludes Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's holidays, Susan's account is completely locked from November 1st all the way until late January. While the broker successfully saved her from losing $20,000 to the scammer, Susan cannot access a single dime of her remaining $500,000 to pay her $3,000 monthly property taxes, or her compounding medical bills for nearly 3 months. What makes this timeline even more severe is that FINRA has actively proposed extending this maximum hold period from 55 business days up to 145 business days to give law enforcement agencies more time to investigate. Furthermore, depending on your specific state's elder abuse laws, local authorities can also step in and file an injunction to freeze your money indefinitely. The scariest part of this entire federal rule is that the brokerage firm faces absolutely zero legal consequences if they make an absolute mistake and freeze your money by accident. This brings us directly to the broker's safe harbor immunity, which acts as a total legal liability shield for the corporation. Normally, under standard banking and contract law, if a financial institution refuses to give you your own money when you request it, you can sue them in a court of law for substantial financial damages. But FINRA Rule 2165 provides an ironclad safe harbor for these brokerage firms. If their compliance team has a reasonable belief that you are being financially exploited, the firm is completely immune from being sued by you. It does not matter if it turns out you were completely innocent, you were not being scammed, and their freeze caused you a massive, catastrophic financial loss. They are completely protected from your lawyers. Because of this legal shield, your strategy as an investor has to change completely. First, you must realize right now that screaming at customer service representatives or threatening to sue the firm will not work, and it will not release your funds. Second, you have to understand that the broker is heavily incentivized by federal law to freeze first and ask questions later, because the safe harbor completely eliminates their corporate risk. Third, you must never use aggressive, erratic, or panic behavior on the phone with your broker when a transaction is delayed. Acting overly emotional only increases their internal reasonable belief that you are under extreme duress or being actively coached by a scammer in the background. Consider what happened to David, a 68-year-old investor. David tries to withdraw $50,000 from his portfolio to start a legitimate, verified local business with his adult nephew. The compliance officer reviews the withdrawal, suspects the nephew is taking advantage of an elderly relative, and freezes the $50,000. Because of that sudden freeze, David's time-sensitive business opportunity completely collapses, causing him a projected $100,000 in lost profits. Under normal law, David could take that broker to court and sue for that $100,000 loss. But because of the FINRA safe harbor, the broker is 100% immune from liability. David loses the business, loses the projected returns, and has zero legal recourse against the firm. Now, this safe harbor immunity is not entirely absolute. It only applies if the broker actually follows the strict notification rules laid down by the regulators. If they freeze your money and fail to notify the authorized parties on the account within 2 business days, they lose their legal immunity entirely and can be sued for damages under normal state laws. It is no longer just about stopping you from wiring cash out of your account either. A recent regulatory expansion gave these compliance departments the power to stop you from even managing your own investment choices inside your portfolio. This is the critical difference between disbursements and transactions, creating a true double lock on your wealth. Originally, Rule 2165 only allowed brokers to halt disbursements, meaning they could stop a wire or a check from leaving the firm. But because scammers were forcing seniors to liquidate stable assets, causing massive unintended tax bills, FINRA amended the rule. Now, brokers can place a total hold on transactions. They can literally step in and block you from selling a stock, a bond, or a mutual fund inside your own private account. To protect yourself from this double lock, you need to navigate large trades very carefully. Step 1. Know that modern scammers frequently convince seniors to liquidate their entire safe long-term mutual fund portfolios, specifically to purchase highly volatile penny stocks or risky cryptocurrency ETFs. Step 2. If you are planning to execute a massive uncharacteristic trade, such as selling $100,000 of Apple stock all at once when you have held it for decades, pick up the phone and call your broker before you ever click the sell button online. Step 3. Explain the exact logical investment reason you are liquidating the asset so the compliance desk can pre-clear the transaction before the automated alarms trip. Look at the numbers for an investor named Linda, who is 75 years old. Linda is targeted by a sophisticated fraudster who tricks her into liquidating her $200,000 conservative bond portfolio. If the broker only had the power to block the wire transfer, Linda would have already executed the internal sales. Selling that $200,000 worth of bonds would instantly trigger a massive $30,000 capital gains tax bill from the IRS, even if the compliance team stopped the wire later and the scammer never got a single dollar of the cash. By blocking the transaction itself, the broker stops the sale from ever happening, saving Linda from losing $200,000 to the scammer and completely saving her from that devastating $30,000 IRS tax bomb. The state and situational variation here is highly specific. FINRA explicitly clarifies that if a firm places a hold on an entire account, they must still allow legitimate pre-existing transactions to process. This means your scheduled automatic bill payments for your home electricity, your auto insurance, or your Medicare premiums will still be allowed to clear, so your daily life does not completely fall apart during the investigation. So what exactly are these hidden compliance algorithms looking for when they monitor your accounts? You need to know the exact behavioral red flags that trigger a total freeze. These red flag behavioral triggers are monitored constantly by advanced artificial intelligence systems and specialized senior exploitation compliance teams. A freeze is almost never a random accident. It is triggered by sharp, sudden shifts in how you interact with your money. The systems are hunting for sudden large wire requests to unverified third parties, the rapid liquidation of long-held blue-chip assets, visible signs of confusion, fear, or hesitation while you are speaking to a representative on the phone, or the sudden appearance of a brand new friend or advisor who is suddenly directing your financial moves. You can prevent these triggers by managing your account activity with extreme discipline. First, never execute a massive wire transfer while you are actively on a phone call with a tech support representative or a stranger who called you out of the blue. Second, if you start dating someone new or meet a new companion later in life, do not add them as an authorized user or a joint owner on your brokerage account under any circumstances. Third, if you are transferring money to help a family member, ensure the receiving bank account explicitly matches that family member's legal name, not a business entity. Fourth, avoid sudden, erratic shifts in your investment risk profile, like trying to move from 100% safe bonds to 100% risky options contracts overnight. Take the case of John, who is 70 years old. John meets a woman online and after a few weeks of messaging, tries to wire $40,000 to a strange title company to help her close on a piece of real estate. John's historical data shows he has never wired more than $1,000 at a single time in his entire life. The automated algorithm instantly detects a 4,000% increase in disbursement size to an unknown third-party escrow account. The AI flags this as a classic romance scam. The compliance team drops an immediate freeze on the $40,000, protecting 20% of John's entire net worth before the money can vanish into an untraceable account. The situational variation that triggers an instant lockdown involves verbal coaching. A major red flag for a telephone representative is hearing a senior request a large transfer while sounding actively coached or hearing them whisper to someone off camera. If the broker hears a third party in the room telling you exactly what to say to the agent, your account will be locked down before you finish the sentence. When that lock drops, the brokerage firm is legally mandated by federal law to reach out to someone to verify your safety and confirm the transaction. If you do not have this specific individual listed on your profile, the freeze will automatically drag out for the maximum timeline. This brings us to the ultimate legal loophole and your shield against a multi-month freeze, which is the Trusted Contact Person Override under FINRA Rule 4512. When a firm freezes your retirement funds under Rule 2165, they are legally required to notify your designated trusted contact person within 2 business days. Now, a trusted contact is not a power of attorney. They have absolutely no legal right to make trades in your account. They cannot view your balances unless you let them, and they cannot withdraw a single dollar of your money. They are simply a federal emergency contact on file. If you do not have one listed, the broker has no independent third party to verify your situation with, and that freeze will automatically extend to the maximum 55 business days while they wait for state investigators to dig into your life. To establish this protection, you need to execute these exact steps today. Step 1, log into your online brokerage portal right now. Step 2, type Trusted Contact Person into the search bar or navigate directly to your profile security settings. Step 3, name a highly trusted family member or a lifelong friend who is completely independent and not financially dependent on your wealth. Step 4, if your account is ever frozen for a large, legitimate transfer, the broker will call this person. Your trusted contact can immediately vouch for you, confirming the transaction is real, which allows the broker to document the safety check and lift the freeze immediately. Let's look at the math for Mary, who is 68 years old. Mary tries to wire $30,000 to pay for a major kitchen remodel. Her broker flags the large transfer and freezes it, suspecting a predatory contractor scam. Fortunately, Mary has her daughter, Sarah, listed as her official trusted contact. The broker calls Sarah the very next morning. Sarah confirms the deal, stating that she is looking at the contractor's official invoice and that the remodel is completely legitimate. The broker documents the call and lifts the freeze within 24 hours. Mary loses $0, and her construction stays right on schedule. If Sarah had not been listed on that account, Mary would have been forced to wait up to 55 business days for a slow adult protective services investigation, potentially losing a $5,000 non-refundable deposit to the contractor due to a breach of contract. The single biggest mistake seniors make with this rule is assuming their power of attorney automatically acts as their trusted contact. In the real world, elder financial scams are frequently perpetrated by the power of attorney themselves. If a compliance department suspects that your power of attorney is attempting to drain your assets, they will freeze the account and bypass that power of attorney entirely. You must have a separate, completely independent, trusted contact listed on your profile to act as the ultimate tiebreaker and verify that you are safe. To recap everything we have covered today, remember that turning 65 automatically places you into the specified adult category, giving firms the unilateral power to freeze your funds. That freeze can legally last for a maximum of 55 business days, locking up your liquid money over major holidays when you need it most. Thanks to Safe Harbor immunity, you cannot sue the broker for making a mistake, and they now have the power to lock both your cash disbursements and your internal stock transactions. These freezes are driven by automated red flag behavioral triggers that watch your account for uncharacteristic moves. But by using FINRA Rule 4512 to place a trusted contact person on your account, you create an instant override that can break the lock in less than 24 hours. FINRA Rule 20 165 is the ultimate double-edged sword. It can save your life savings from a ruthless scammer, but without a designated trusted contact person on file, that exact same rule can lock you out of your own money for months.